let's do today's shir. Right? We established that a tzaddik after his passing away is more in this world also than he was during his physical lifetime, based on the idea of Shavach Chaim L'chol Chai, leaves over life for all living things, and that his life is ruchnius. So now the Alter Rebbe continues to explain why it's not only also but more. Not only tzaddik is also found here, but he's found here more. He says like this: V'hinei, v'yisa tzaddik al pnei ha'adam. While the tzaddik lived his physical life on the face of this earth, ha'yishleish midas elo, these three midas, these three measures of amunah, yin, and ava, but they were in a vessel and in a garment which was theirs. B'chinas makim gashmi, limited to a physical space. There was a guf. The guf exists in makim, and it also exists in zman. Even a tzaddik gomer can only do one thing at a time. So there's medidas v'agbal sayev makim, and sayev zman. Shehi, and what is this limitation? It's b'chinas nefesh akshura b'guf. It's the nefesh of the tzaddik, which is bound to the guf of the tzaddik. Right now, you understand that a tzaddik has a nefesh and a ruach and a neshama. Now, I told you this the other day, based on what says in Zayah, that most people only are zeichet to the madrega of nefesh. Ruach is makif. Tzaddikim are zeichet to ruach also. And big tzaddikim are zeichet to neshama. In other words, in the language of Zayah, naran is much higher than we use it and employ it in the framework of our Chabad culture. So naran, nefesh, ruach, neshama is three madregas. Nefesh is the part that we all have. And even by tzaddikim, it's the nefesh which links the ruchnius to the guf of the tzaddik. But through the nefesh, the ruach and the neshama are also bound and restrained within the guf of the tzaddik is alive. Everything happens through the guf. Not just nyanim of nefesh, but the nyanim of ruach and neshama as well. Okay? Okay. Shibechinas nefesh akshura begufe, which is the nefesh which is limited and restrained within his body. The whole talmidav and all of his talmidim, eina makabmer, incapable of getting any inspiration. And of course, in context, what would be the inspiration that tzaddik would give? The same emunah and yira and ahava which he has himself. Rak ha'oras midei selu, only a shine of these midas emunah, yira and ahava, v'zivan, and their rays. Hameir chutz l'klizeh, which radiates out of this vessel, I did the Buddha through his words, u'machshavesiv, in his thoughts, hakadeshim, that are holy. In the Yiddish Tanya, he's madgish the idea that emunah, yira and ahava are ruchnius, as opposed to ma'isa mitzvahs, which is gashmitz, which we're going to talk about soon. And in as much as ruchnis is concerned, the longer the tzaddik is alive, the ruchnis of the tzaddik is bound within a body. So your ability to get the munah yira ava from the ruchnis of the tzaddik has to be through the limitation of the guf, and therefore you're only able to get a ha'ara. And he continues. And for this reason also the Gemara says, She'ein adam eimed al das, rabbe v'chuli, in every madrega of rabbe, and so forth. And in the Yiddish Tanya he says that the hemshach is adar boim shnin. Right? And of course the question is, why did it take 40 years to be Malas Rabbi? And the teretz is, because so-called one of the Rabbi is alive, you can only get a order from the Rav and not the etzem of the Rav. You understand? That's what he says. Now, but when does the name for Petira? So what happens is like this. Because the Nefesh, Ruach, and the Neshama split. And he explains as follows. Nefesh remains in the kever. And the Rebbe says in his Siches that the Mokam HaGuf is the Mokam HaYechida. Right? The Rebbe says, why do you have to go to the Eil Davke? Because although in the Guf is only the Madrega of Nefesh, but because of the principle of Not, Chalos, and B'Seifan, in the Guf Gashmi, in the Guf Kaddish, also have the Yechidah Sheba Nefesh. That's what the Rebbe says in Siches. So Nefesh is the lowest Madrega, but it's connected to the highest Madrega, the idea of Maise and Asiyah and Gufniyas and so forth. But the Ruach and the Neshama leave. And he continues. And the Ruach goes to Gan Eden. Now you'll soon find out this business of going to Gan Eden, the Ruach is complicated. And what is Ruach? Shein Shalosh Midas Halalu. Ruach is the place of these three Midas, Emunah, Yir, and Ahava. Lefichach, because the Ruach has now left the Guf and has gone to Gan Eden, therefore, Yachal, it's conceivable, it's possible. For Kol HaKol of love, anybody that's close to the Tzaddik, Lekabel Chel, to receive a portion of Bechinas Ruach Sheba Gan Eden, from his Ruach which is in Gan Eden, Hayel, since that Ve'ena B'Tech Kli, it's not in a vessel, and therefore, it's not limited to space. In other words, as far as Gashmi space is concerned, it's everywhere b'shava. And also, as far as man is concerned, there's no medida of Agbala. Keneda, as it is known, stop. So, b'meile, the ruach of the tzaddik went to Gan Eden, and Gan Eden is not limited to Mokam and Zman. So anybody can access the etzem of the Munah Yira Av of a tzaddik. It's not only a ha'ara. And of course, you guys are asking an obvious question. Hold on a second. Gan Eden is also not here. the Ruach goes back to Gan Eden. Gan Eden is not here. So he continues right away and he explains what he means. It says in Rashi, based on the Chazal, Yaakov Avinu alav hashalom. When Yaakov Avinu came in to visit Yitzchak Avinu and to bring him the meal, right? It says that Gan Eden came in with Yaakov Avinu. Hastes that although Gan Eden is an Inyan Ruchni, there is an Inyan of Gan Eden in this world. And you'll see in a moment how it is. The King Kosav Sefer HaMasar HaMamoris is also written in Sefer HaMamoris, which is a very classic work of Kabbalah from Rab Meir Mipanu, Rab Nachman Zayim Mipanu, a Talmud Talmidei Avarizal. She'avir Gan Eden mispashit savav kol. That the air of Gan Eden surrounds each person who serves Hashem, a tzaddik. V'nirshama b'yavazeh, and it's written into this air, kol machshaveisav v'dibur avatevim, all the thoughts and the speech that are good, but teira avodas Hashem, that are in teira avodas Hashem. Now, let's explain that a little bit. You're in Zman HaMakom, which means you can only do one mitzvah at a time. So you did one mitzvah, you moved on to the second mitzvah, the old mitzvah is gone. Right? But the Avad of Gan Eden, which is around you, doesn't have that Medida V'Agbo Zman HaMakom. So any mitzvah which you did even 10 years ago, in your Avad of Gan Eden, it still exists. Because there's not the same inyan of Medida V'Agbo of Zman HaMakom by every person. But when the neshama is in the goof, it's only a ha'ara of the ruach, right? Parenthesis. The chein lehepech as the same is true for Kert, but when you get to Esav Arasha, he comes into Yitzchak Avinu, and in Gehenim, nichnas samitachtav, neshama be'aver, right? The neshamim, it's marked in the air. Around each person, also avid of Gehenim. In other words, when you're a good person, there's an avid of Gan Eden around you, and in that avid is chakok, the good that you did, and the of malam and makam malam izman. When the neshama leaves the goof, it's a much more concentrated echos of ruach, which is available in this avid of Gan Eden, as when a person is alive, because the ruach is not limited to the goof and to the zman and makam through the nefesh and the goof. Bechlaunus against a kedesh kumt es noch mered. It's not stamatzad, it's not a mafrumiyid, it's someone who was mekush at him and loved him. You'll see this diak soon. Hilkach therefore, nakal miyedla talmidav. It's much easier for his talmidim. L'kabel chalkam, to get their portion, bechinas ruach rabim ha'atzmius, from the essence of the ruach of their rebbe. Sheheim, and what is the ruach of the rebbe? Emunasei, v'yirasei, v'ahavasei, is emunah yir and ava. Asher avad behemes Hashem, which he served the Eibishter after his talkus. V'leiziv and bilvad, not just the rei hamer, which would have to shine from inside the guf to chutzlikli, to outside the guf. L'fishe bechinas ruach ha'atzmius. Now, wait 1 second. There's a kasha, however. The kasha is that, okay, we understand that when the neshama is in the guf, you can only get ruchni through the gashmis haguf, but only ha'ara. The neshama leaves the guf, you can get the rechus directly. But the kasha is, doesn't the neshama go back to Gan Eden? So he answers, lefi, because that even though afal pi the ruach, the essence of the ruach, actually also leaves this space and goes up to connect with the neshama which is in Gan Eden Ha'elyon. So what does it help you? Gan Eden that surrounds a person, that Gan Eden, that the ruach goes up to Gan Eden together with the neshama. So the Alter Rebbe answers, the teretz is because anything in holiness is never uprooted completely from its place and step which it had before, even after it ascends even higher and even higher. So, although the Ruach joins the Neshama in Gan Eden Ha'elyon, since in this world and in this lifetime there was a Gili of Emunah Yiranava through the Ruach, that Ruach remains in this world and is available in the Avad of Gan Eden al-Tzaddik in this world. So, before the Ruach was stuck in the Guf, now the Ruach is in Gan Eden, but the Ruach in Gan Eden allows for more access to the Atzmos of the Ruach of the Tzaddik than when the Ruach was trapped in the Guf. And he says like this. Okay, ubechina zu harishena, and this first aspect of Ruach, shenishar alamata b'Gan Eden atachten, which remains below in the lower Gan Eden, in its place and first step, in other words, just as it was b'chayav, this is expanded and it reaches his talmidim. And this gives the talmidim greater access to the ruach of the tzaddik than during his physical life. So when it comes to nefesh, the mashmos says there's no difference between b'chayav and achab tiras. It's in the guf. Comes to neshama, the neshama is not laughing in Gan Eden, l'chayri have no shaychas to neshama. You'll see with him tomorrow, the Rebbe is going to change his mind. When it comes to ruach, there's two in Yonam. The pnimius of ruach, the atom of ruach, which is Eile, as miskashe, with neshama, and then there's a sufficient ha'ara of ruach which is mispashet in the avad of Gan Eden, which is in this world, which talmidim are able to access to, and this is yatimi b'chayoy. Even this is yatimi b'chayoy. And he says, Hiya mispashetes betalmid, of this ruach expands the talmidim kol echad, each one kifi bechinas es kashrusei, according to the measure of his attachedness, v'kirvusei love, and his closeness to him, b'chayav, during his lifetime, u'b'meisei, and after his death, b'av rabba, with an infinite love. Okay, and here the word, the Alter Rebbe is saying, for you to access a tzaddik b'chlal, and especially after his talkusei, it's not enough that you go to him, it's not enough that you listen to him, you have to love him. That's to be a regesh of ahava. It's very interesting. Right, what does he say? Ba'ava rabba. Ki amshachas kol ruchnius, to bring down any kind of ruchnius, a special ruchnius from a yidden, that his guf kodesh is not be'espashtas or be'esgalas in this world. Eina the ava rabba. You have to have ava. In other words, the kli for ruchnius is ruchnius. Ki amshachas kol ruchnius. The only way to bring down ruchnius, and in this case, this is the emun and ava, and Yiras Hashem. Eina Ella is only al yedei ava rabba through. I just read the same line again. It says in Zayah, the ruach, the ruach of the liba, the ruach of the ratzon alev within a yid. Amshich ruach milayela, draws down the ruach from the Rebishter. Okay, so that you're able to access the emunah yiranav. So by a person who's makusha to a tzaddik, b'chayav, and after his talkus, there's still ahava rabba that makes you a keli for the ruach of the tzaddik, and in a very significant prat is yatam b'chayoy, more than his lifetime. Rak the key is im yechavin yiken l'kansel l'kol, prepare himself to serve the Yebishter, ba'achon rabba v'yget with a great preparation and a deep and intense toil. L'kabel shal shmiras alol, to receive these three midas from the Rebbe. First of all, through the ahava for his tzaddik, for his Rebbe, and then for his willingness to serve the Yebishter. Kederach shehiro rabbi, as his Rebbe taught him how to serve the Eibishter. Or Kamayim, like the Gemara says. The guy told him it's also a tamen that you only find if you be misyageya, and if you misyageya, says the Alter Rebbe, you will find a seder of emunah, yir and ava from the neshama of the tzaddik, from the ruach of the tzaddik. And the Rebbe always says that you could be makusha to a Rebbe you didn't know. Here it says v'kol hakod of kedem, during your lifetime. The Rebbe says you could become makusha. There's three things the Rebbe says. You do the herois of the Rebbe. You learn the Torah of the Rebbe, and you're mishtata b'svadas of Chassidim. But Meshu Sheil, Bamel, Weiskasha Sheilai, and the Rebbe says three things. This is on the Yem Yem. Fabrengens are very important, Torah is very important, and the Ikid is Heroes. And this is what the Rebbe is saying over here.
But that's expressed through Ava Rabba? Saying to
no, forget. Those are expressions of the Ava Rabba.
I'm saying a person now, you could say, I love the Rebbe, but he doesn't like...
To translate Paltiel, that's from Folgen. You have to learn the Rebbe's Torah. Right. Learn the Rebbe's Torah, Sipach Siddhische Verbringens.
That's real love. Meaning that's Ava Rabba.
Well, that's translating the Ava into a Paltiel. No, Ava Rabba is Amida. Okay. Now...